Akademiks SHADES Rory and Mal after they make the hip hop media list for Complex.
Them being 13, I'm not sure I put them over Bootleg Kev. I would put that. I don't even sure I'm putting him over Trap Lord Ross. I'd probably put him closer to 25. I'm gonna keep it a bean. You know why I never like these, especially when they start having such adverse opinions about me, is because they were that lacked an opinion. They were this detergent hiding motherfucker. Maul. A fire lit under. I think it's probably because Drake was hitting him. Like, it's the first time I seen them passionate, and it just kind of shows because if anybody knows these two bozos right here, they were the who were always, anytime they used to judge me, they used to try to come across as, nah, we too cool for that. Nah, we're cool. That's why Joe Budden fired them. They were too cool for school. They finally start realizing, hey, maybe sometimes you're not going to look cool. But let's see how after the Drake thing. Because, again, if you are not passionate about nothing, nobody gives a fuck about what you're saying.
That's right. On a recent stream, Akademiks went at his former foes. Well, actually not former. They still hate them. And criticized their platform, but gave them some credit. However, sent a lot of shade, a lot of sneak dissing. I don't even know if Akademiks really hates Rory and Mal that much anymore, or if it's just kind of like a play for his audience because he knows that it's going to get numbers. I do think he did hate them at a certain time because Akademiks saw how Rory and Mal were very critical of him while he was someone who had his own platform that he had to make the decisions for. He was the shot caller for all of the content creation, and Rory and Mal were very critical. They were very judgmental of the things that Akademiks did and not acknowledging the hard work. I think Rory did acknowledge the hard work, whereas Maul was the one calling Akademiks a bozo, and Rory would say he works hard even though he didn't like the type of content he made. Well, anyway, Akademiks goes into an assessment of Rory and Mal's platform and says that they got a Drake stimulus package from the beef, and says that for the first time, Rory and Mal did not care about what other people thought and decided to become true content creators, but also says that it still remains to be seen how they will do after this whole Drake and Kendrick stimulus package. I will say, though, that could kind of apply to Akademiks because, you know, he was on the forefront of that whole beef and some of his work was amazing. But there's some people noting that after the beef, like some of his content isn't really as impactful. I don't know if that's the case. I think like most creators, it goes up, especially in the music industry, it goes up and down. Like, right, if Joe fires Ish tomorrow, my numbers are going to skyrocket just because of the controversy and the drama of that. But when things die down, it's up to you to kind of find ways to be interesting. It could be, oh, I'm going to drop only when drama happens, or, oh, I'm going to drop and not care as long as I connect with my audience. Those are the decisions that you have to make. But Akademiks is a machine, so he has to keep up the work rate, and so do other creators. As for Rory and Mal's entry into the Complex list, I don't know. I feel like they deserved it. They really amped it up. And I think it's as a result of their Serious deal ending. It was amazing to see them put things together. They also have their own studio, which is something that they put through, like they made. And I think they have an awesome set. They're one of my favorite sets. Largely because it's like a mix of the old school TV sets that you would see on MTV and also a mix of like a podcast studio that WTF has. And it only remains to be seen if Rory and Mal will be able to survive long term, as maybe their interest might wane. But they survived. Let's wake it up. They were able to get to a second contract. These guys kind of got it figured out. I think that they have a loyal fan base that will listen to them regardless. Then they have the casuals who will come to them for their music breakdowns. They do meaningless banter real well. Somebody in my comment section said that Rory and Maul do meaningless banter way better than the Joe Budden podcast. And I was like, damn, this person is a genius. That's completely true. They're way better at the small talk than Joe Budden. And let's wake it up. When it comes to podcasting, only podcasting, Akademiks doesn't really have a leg to stand on. To me, he's really great at streaming, but Rory and Maul were able to create a show that people listen to without guests. Nobody needs to be on the Rory and Maul podcast for them to garner an audience. Matter of fact, some people hate when they have guests. Akademiks podcast, I think if it doesn't have guests, the audience it doesn't really stick. His strength is streaming. He knows how to curate a conversation live while it's happening in real time. And some of the things he says really has it, because he's an insider and he has a great way of funneling information that he knows to his audience, which makes his content very important to everybody. And he also says that Rory and Maul should have been 25 on the list. So this whole thing was just a bunch of shade on Akademiks' part, but I get it. When someone downplays your platform, you tend to never forget how they did you. We will see how all parties respond. I think the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef made a lot of money for a lot of people. And now a lot of people are going to have to be creative. You see Joe's platform, to me, it's taking a major hit. It could be just the summertime and everybody's reshuffling the deck. We don't know how people are going to respond to having all of that money from Drake and Kendrick and then losing a lot of that money as there's not as much topics to discover in the waning months of summer. But we're headed into the end of the year, fourth quarter, and we'll see how everyone adjusts. But let me know what you think about Akademiks' comments about Rory and Maul. Were they shade, or was he giving valid criticism? We're going to have to see. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Make sure you tap in with my Reddit, Joe Budden Network. A lot of people get mad that I have a Reddit after the Joe Budden Network. But hey, man, I made that Reddit, man. Took it from 800 to 17,000 people and counting. And it's only growing. I can't wait to see where it goes. But just follow it. It's where you can get tapped in. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.